All right, today we are going to do something interesting. We're going to deconstruct the marketing for a product called SLIMCRYSTAL. We're going to look at the big promises, the pitch, and then the fine print, all based directly on their own material.
So, the whole premise, everything we're about to look at, really just boils down to this one single powerful question. Can drinking water from a crystal bottle actually help you lose weight? That is the core claim, and we're going to explore it using only the seller's own words.
Okay, so what's the big promise here? What are they actually selling you on? Let's dive right into the core claims made directly on their sales page.
Boom, right at the top of their page, you get hit with this headline. This is their unique selling proposition. The world's only crystal water bottles created to recharge water. It immediately sets the stage, framing this product as something totally new, something you haven't seen before.
Okay, so beyond just that headline, what specific results can you supposedly expect? Well, their material lays out 4 big ones: supporting healthy weight loss, maintaining healthy digestion, achieving high energy levels, and even supporting long-term youthfulness. Wow, those are some pretty ambitious claims for sure.
All right, so that's the what. But what about the how? How is this all supposed to actually work? Let's dig into the mechanics they present, the explanation behind the magic. Well, according to their sales page, the secret sauce is literally inside the bottle. They say each one is packed with 9 different types of natural crystals, and these are positioned as, the active ingredients that are making all of this happen. And this is where we get to the core idea of the whole thing. They call it recharged water. Now, what is that? Well, the way they describe it, it's water that's been revitalized by this powerful combination of crystals, and that's what's supposed to give your body all these amazing health benefits. This concept, it's the absolute centerpiece of their entire pitch.
So, you've got the promise, you've got the how. What comes next in the pitch? Of course, the stories. The social proof. A huge part of the appeal here is built on these really powerful personal stories that are presented as evidence that this thing works.
Let's take a look at the first one. This is from Jenna Michaels in Miami. She's quoted as saying, "It took me only 3.5 months to get rid of all the excess weight I accumulated. I am back to a size 8. You can see how this kind of specific, really dramatic result is designed to be super relatable.
And then there's this next story from Tracy Atkins in Boston. This one's really interesting because it expands the benefits way beyond just weight loss. She claims she lost 34 pounds, but also that her blood sugar is back to normal, and she even got a raise. The story is deliberately connecting the bottle to these much bigger life improvements.
And to really make an impact, they throw out some pretty huge numbers. Case in point, 54 pounds. That is a big number, and it's meant to grab your attention.
And that 54 pounds, it comes from this story, from a Samantha McGinn. The quote they use is pretty incredible. "Just by using one each day, I lost 54 pounds. But then it goes on. Soon I found out that I was pregnant and my boyfriend proposed to me." See what's happening here? The narrative is linking the product to these profound, absolutely life-altering events.
So, okay, after pulling you in with all these incredibly emotional stories, the pitch naturally pivots to the offer. Let's break down the price tag and see what kind of guarantee they're giving people.
So here's how the pricing works. It's a classic tiered system. You can grab one bottle for $117, which they frame as an $80 saving. But hey, if you buy 2, the deal gets better. The price drops to $97 per bottle, for a total of $197, and that's promoted as a $200 savings. It's a pretty standard bulk discount strategy.
Now, to make you feel a little more comfortable clicking that buy button, they offer what they call a rock-solid 60-day guarantee. The promise is super simple. If you're not satisfied with your results within 2 months, you can contact them and they say they'll give you a full refund.
Okay, so that is the big, shiny pitch, right? The promise, the incredible stories, the money-back guarantee. But you know as well as I do, to get the full story from any source, you can't just read the headlines. You got to scroll all the way down. So let's take a look at the fine print.
And this is where things get really interesting. Let's just put the main claims right next to the disclaimers. On one side, you have this really confident statement. All our clients say that drinking water from our bottles help them lose weight naturally. But then you read the disclaimer, and it says, results are not typical and that your results may vary greatly and are not guaranteed.
And here's another one, a huge contrast. The testimonials talk about real health benefits, right? Weight loss, normal blood sugar, high energy. But then, right there in the disclaimer section, you've got that line you always see. Statements on this website have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. But honestly, this next one might be the most fascinating contrast of all. Remember those powerful stories we just read from Jenna Michaels and Tracy Atkins? Well, if you dig deep into the terms and conditions, you find this one little sentence. All names used in testimonials and content on our website are pen names.
And that leads us to what is frankly probably the most revealing line on the entire page. It's pulled straight from their liability disclaimer. It says, "For all intents and purposes, you agree that our content is to be considered for entertainment purposes only."
So, where does that leave us? On one hand, you have these incredible promises and deeply emotional stories. And on the other, you have all these disclaimers and qualifications buried in the tiny print. It really all boils down to that final question the source material itself presents. When that big, shiny promise finally meets the fine print, what does the full story really tell?